huge opportunity missed for Blackburn Rovers as they could only muster a point against a very sturgy, resolute Stoke City. Can we get back into the playoff hunt? We'll talk about it next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match review, this time picking apart Blackburn Rovers' latest championship fixture, and we'll get to that in just 1 second. If you're new to the channel, smash your subscribe button to keep you bang up to date with all things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, football related, all here under one Roski. Okay, folks, before we jump into the thick of things to talk about Stoke Rovers, Stoke, let's bring you up to date with some Patreon news. Nothing, obviously, depending on where you are on the grand scheme of things in the Blackburn Roverseas universe. You might already know about the Patreon. If you watch every single video, you know. But anyway, just in case you don't, the ledge, Tom Beresford, did up his pledge this past few days. So respect to my brother, Tom Beresford, for doing just that. Also, joining him, Russell Frost has now become a Patreon. Yes, my boys and girls, that made number 8. And then, hot off the press, No Code Drinker became number 9 of the old Patreon gang. Can you be number 10? Well, I'm wide open for offers, boys. Wide open for offers. If you want to become our Patreon and join the exclusive VIP gang, there is a link down in your description, patreon.com/Roverseas, and you could be number 10, which would achieve my goal of getting 10 Patreons within the first flipping calendar year. So close, guys. So pissing close. Anyway, no, you know what? Who also was close? Blackburn Rovers. That's why it's so close to getting closer into the old stinking top 6 reckoning. We were never going to get in there, no matter what happened today. But we were going to get close. We were going to get so close. We've been touching distance. And what this result has done is this whole week was a big old week. No matter what, 3 games in just over 8 days. At the end of it, at the end of the long and winding road of this week, we could have been in the playoff spots. That's what we kind of missed now. Instead, what we got to do is kind of bounce back at the first attempt against Swansea City and get 3 points. And then, you never know, we might be just 1 point away from 3rd, 4th, I don't know, whatever it is. We'll take a look at the permutations in a minute. But really, Stoke City came for a point, and that's just what they got. They're in their own little dogfight of their own down the foot of the table. Results probably didn't go their way today, with Wigan picking up a victory. I think Barnsley picked up a victory, so it is heating up down there. But we'll talk about all that in a little bit. Let's take a look at the game itself. 0-0 was the final score. 12,343 fans battled through the weather. Apparently another fine Lancashire evening. In a game that had very little zing about it. It was actually Rovers were the most creative out of the two, in a game that offered very little. We actually had 16 shots on the night, 11 for Stoke. We also had more possession, 65% possession, 35% for Stoke. Our passes, 81% success rate with our passes, 60 for Stoke. We had 10 dribbles compared to their 1, which is a very interesting statistic there, just because to show kind of the football that we tried to play and what the opposition have tried to play. 24 aerial duels won. I did look at that quite recently. I think we've moved up a notch in the old the battle of the aerial duels, which is amazing considering where we've been, considering our defence over the past year, 2 years. This is it's a major talking point. It's a major reason why we are doing as well as we are up to 8th for whatever it is the table is because of our defence, and that's got a huge and that's this 0-0 result has got so much to it to talk about because of the implications. Darrell Lennon picked up a yellow card. I think it's his 10th, which means he is suspended for the next 2 games, which is Swansea and the one further out. I don't even know what that is right now. I'm only looking at 1 game ahead. 1 game out of pissing time. So, but it just goes to show how important the back line is. The likes of Lenihan, Tonson Adebayo and Christian Walton between 6. And then you talk about the fullbacks, the Amari Bells and the Ryan Niembis have upped their game this season, the past 15 games anyway. So it's definitely while we're in the thick of things and while we're up as far as we are, because we could be a Wigan, you know that. If without that back 4, back 5 with the goalkeeper, we could be a Wigan. We might be scoring goals. Look at QPR, they score goals for fun, but they've got the leaky ass defence and they are struggling in mid-lower tier of the table. But credit to Rovers' defence this season. It's something that I've never thought I'd see ever again, a solid defensive unit. But that's going to be broken up on Saturday with Lenihan out. Anyway, so yeah, the tackles. Stoke were more fruitful with the tackles. We had more corners than they did, 4 to their 3. And that's just about it. Darren Bond was the man pulling the strings as the referee. Let's take a look at the starting lineups now. First and foremost, Rovers. Christian Walter between the sticks. Amari Bell, Tontamata Rabayo, Lenihan and Nyambe made up the back four. Travis Johnson, the defensive midfield unit. Rothwell was the man in the middle, so that was welcome return to see him back in the blue and white half. Downing and Gallagher, he got the nod ahead of Samuel, and Adam Armstrong led the line. And no goals for him today. How about my match ratings? We're going to start with Christian Walter with a 6. Amari Bell with a 6, Tontamata Rabayo with a 6, Dan Lennon with a 7, Nyambe with a 6 as well. Again, it's just they were strong, they were resolute, but they weren't troubled that much. Travis with a 6 as well, Johnson with a 5. He just looked slow to me, and to be honest with you, I would have pulled him off at half time. He just looked. He does what he does, and I was campaigning, or I was very happy when we signed him. We needed a big boss man midfielder, and that's what he is. He is not a Travis. He's not a flipping Downing. He's just does that. He bosses the midfield. He can be slug. He can be, and he's got a rocket on his foot as well, so he can let him off. And he looked to try and get a couple shots off today, but they just didn't work out for him. But today he just looked very slow and sluggish. Joe Rothwell, there wasn't really too much about him as well, but it was nice to see him. He has got a different style about him compared to some of the other players who will occupy that middle role. Downing, of course, doing his bit. Armstrong with a 5 and Gallagher with a 6. I'm giving him a gracious 6. You know what? People harp on about him not scoring goals, and that's what he's been brought to the club for, is to score goals. But his effort, some of the balls that he can pick out, and some of his runs, and some of the little bits and pieces that go under the radar, a lot of the haters don't see that. They'll just say, they'll look at the score sheet. Has Gallagher scored? No. Let's give him a shitload of abuse. But no, I saw one ball. It was in the air. I don't know how the heck he got it, but he got it. Took it on whatever he did. He just did a little bit of technique, and he made a nice little run for himself. Those little bits and pieces get washed away if you don't watch the full game. And I tell you what, Gallagher is getting a hard run of it from the fans. So just like being bad boy Brereton. So if you're not scoring goals, the forwards, they're going to get on your case. Let's take a look at the opposition. Butland was between the sticks. Indy, young Nathan Collins was also at the back line alongside Bath. Smith as well. Make up a decent back four for them. Again, Stoke have got a really decent side on there. Nick Powell, obviously we know about him, former Man United guy, former Wigan guy, obviously won the League One Player of the Year or runner-up or whatever it was. Klukas, he was knocking around in the Premier League as well. Joe Allen as well, former Liverpool man right there. Tom Ince. Created a little whistle on the right-hand side. Young Thompson in the middle now. Obviously, Northern Islander. He knows him pretty well. And, of course, Tyrese Campbell up top. He's one of the hot prospects of English football right now. So they've got a decent side. And I tipped them to do very well at the start of the season. And I'll expect them to do very well next season, as long as they don't get themselves caught in a bit of a mess and do a Blackburn Rovers or do a Wigan and get themselves relegated to League One, because it's still on the cards for them at the moment. Here's some more stats for you. Touches, we had 705 touches compared to there, 452. We had 515 passes compared to there, 278. We talked about the shots as well. We had 16 shots, but of those, only 6 were on target. As for Stoke, they had 11 shots, just 2. That's the usual figure for us, so it makes us look good today. Down the bottom of the graphic there, you can see whereabouts those shots took place. How about the heat maps? Every heat map man just like me will take a little look at it. Some more familiar heat map. Obviously, the game against Brentford, there was not as much coverage as there was today. But Rovers were all over it. We did have a lot of possession, but ultimately we couldn't make it count. And Stoke, with their monster midfield of a very good quality midfield, they absorbed all the pressure. They sat deep. They kept us at bay, and they got what they want. So job done for Michael O'Neill. I thought they came for a point, and they ran away with it. And you know what? If we reset the clocks and restart the blocks or whatever, and had a brand new squeaky clean season, I would be content with a draw against Stoke City. I think they have had a nightmare season. Obviously, we've had a nightmare season, and we got bitten at the end of it and got relegated. Hopefully, Stoke, for their point of view, they don't get relegated. They've had a nightmare season. But I think you won't even have to change much with that squad. You just need to get the confidence back, and they'll be competing for playoffs next season if they're in this championship, no matter what. Maybe a couple of little tweaks here, there, and everywhere, but ultimately that's a decent side. Michael O'Neill's get them worked, get them organised, and you know what? They'll be there or thereabouts next season, just as long as they survive. Anyway, that's just a little bit of tidbits about me. What about the gaffer? What did he have to say shortly after the final whistle? Well, here he is. Tony Mowbray, take it away.
Well, ultimately we left frustrated. I think they came with a pretty decent game plan, defensively game plan. I think Michael's been around. He's obviously managed his country against some top teams and knows how to set up a team to defend. And they played deep to nullify our speed over the top. They narrowed their midfield right off to stop our 10s getting on the ball. It was difficult for us to get through them, and obviously they got a bit of speed and know how up the top ends, and it was an awkward night for us, and yet did we do enough to sneak it 1-0? It would have been a nice sitting here if we'd scored from a set play or a ricocheted shot or somewhere to flown in, a free kick or something, but we'd have taken 1-0. But Stoke have got some experienced players. They've got a very experienced manager, and they made life difficult for us, and so we left a bit frustrated. I think they're fighting for their lives, aren't they? Every point is a prisoner for them. It's to come away to Ewood, and where we have had a decent record for a few years. He's probably happy to take a point and try and win his home games, and they've done the job. So as I say, ultimately we left a bit frustrated. We knocked on the door a few times. I don't know how many shots ultimately we had, but it was hard to get through as we might normally get through and on transition, with Armstrong running away. There you go. So let's not be too disappointed. Just that they've got another opportunity on Saturday. We different challenge against a team who'll come and play on the front foot, because they're a football team who have a definitive way of playing and a philosophy that goes back a good few years, and so it'll be a different type of football match on Saturday. Yeah, I think it was just to start, Joe, was a big gamble for me, really. I think he's trained 2 days, he's in 4.5 weeks, and yet he looked pretty sharp in training. I didn't expect him to get as long as he got, to be honest, but it's difficult to bring him off when he goes on. He might not do anything for 10-15 minutes, but then he picks it up and runs past 4 people like they're not there, and you think, leave him on another 5 and get. But what's important is the next 11 games, really, and you don't, especially with hamstrings, you've got to be careful, and so he had to come off, really. And Sam was a similar scenario. He's got some back issues at the moment that are giving him a bit of grief. So them were the changes for us. And that's a frustration for again, it was a clean sheet was important tonight. It's don't give these teams somewhat to cling on to, really. A clean sheet was really, really important for us, and I don't think it was under too much threat most of the night, but Lenihan's been exceptional for us, as has Tossin, and we have to find a different combination the next couple of games. It was right in front of us, really. I think they both had hold of each other, to be honest, and yet the ball was going behind Darragh, wasn't he? And it looked the referee probably thought he was holding him, but I think they were both tugging at each other. He could have, so early in the game, he could have given him a warning, I suppose, but there you go. It's he took his card out and it's done now, so we have to get on with it. No, Derek's not ready yet. He won't. The plan for Derek is that he trains Monday. And again, I would suggest with calves, is it too big a gamble to put Derek straight in, having not done anything for weeks and weeks and weeks in a game where we need to be right? We'll have a look. We'll see the next few days. I'll talk to him. But the plan for Derek had been start training on Monday, give himself a week to get through training and see how things went, really. But it's a huge call at this moment, sitting here, to think that we're going to throw Williams straight in the team. No, we got a few options. I've got a few options, and we'll make the decision. Probably on Friday. They'll be in tomorrow, working, cooling down in the pool, rolling around on the mats, and just getting the fatigue out of their muscles. We'll do a light session on Friday, getting ready to just prep them really for what's coming, what Swansea are all about, and then we'll get ready to go again. And I'm sure they will be ready to go again. I was saying this week, historically, the third game in these 3 game weeks, we've generally done pretty well. Bristol City away, we had a good result. I don't know where the Hull was recently, but with the third game, generally they find the energy and the legs and the power to get the job done. So we look forward to Saturday, and hopefully we can find a way of getting 3 points.
Well, obviously, it was a busy old week in the old Championship. Let's take a look at the games that took place. Also, these ones are on Tuesday and, of course, today, which is Wednesday, depending on where you are in the world. QPR picked up a win against Derby, as they do, 2-1 in the end. Luton Town, surprise result there, 2-1 against Brentford. That must have been a hard pill to take for Brentford. They're on you know what, they're up there, but they're having a shit bit of form, and it's at the wrong time of the season for them, really. If they want to be in the automatics, they need to be winning these games, and they need to be beating us as well at home. Huddersfield picked up another strong win as well. Again, they are scrambling for points down the foot of the table. Bristol City need points as well. It was scripted for Rovers to take prime advantage of this, but we didn't take it. Cardiff as well, competing for us in that around about that 8th, 9th spot. They blew it as well. Not so much picking up the win away from home. And, of course, West Brom did their bit over the Nobbers. 2-0 win in the end. Again, opportunity blown for Preston. It doesn't get easier for them. I think they got Fulham next. Again, so today, Rovers did take care of Stoke. Well, they didn't take care of Stoke. We battled out to a 0-0 draw. Hull are in free fall. And they could actually get relegated. Right now, the way they are playing, I just don't see when they're going to get a win. Their heart and soul has been ripped out of them, and they are free falling. Who's the man? It's a shame because Gavin McCann's a decent manager, decent young manager. And things were looking good with Bowen was there, Grosicki was there, but to lose both of those players at pretty much the same time, the creativity, the zing, I think Tom Eaves has now been scratched off for the rest of the season. It's just not going well. Sheffield Wednesday picked up a lastminute.com winner. I think it was Fletcher. When he scores goals, he wins. He's been out for a while. They are now going to turn a massive corner with them starting to pick up some points now. Millwall nil, Birmingham nil. Birmingham are unbeaten since January sometime. They're on a fine stinking run. Fulham 1-0 winners over Swansea. That probably worked in our favour as well. Big win for Fulham. Mitrovic goal, lastminute.com. Flipping neck, you just don't know. As long as Mitrovic firing, Fulham are going to be knocking on the door. And then obviously Leeds picking up a win against Middlesbrough. They're in a bit of shit as well. Middlesbrough could go down, and we're getting 3-0 winners over Reading at the Majesty. So what's that done to the table? What has it done to the table? Come on, producer, sort it out. Here we go. West Brom lead the way, 69 points. Leeds are in second. As it stands, that's pretty much it. There's no real contention in there. But I'm looking at Fulham. I think I was looking at this on the way home from work. I was thinking, you know what? I think Fulham are probably, despite Scotty Parker, I'm not convinced with Scotty Parker, but when you got Alexander Mitrovic on your side, you're gonna score goals and you're gonna win games. I don't know. Has he scored since his return? I know he scored against us. He scored tonight. I think he might have scored in between that as well. So, you know what? Since he's there, okay, they did lose, didn't they? They did lose quite recently. So it's not all plain sailing for Fulham. But with Mitrovic there, that is an out-and-out proven goal scorer at the top level, and at this, he's phenomenal. He's running away with the Golden Boot over in the Championship. Forest as well, doing well. Brentford right now, they need a pissing win. It's 4 games without a win for them. Preston as well, a little bit wobbly. Bristol City wobbly, 4 defeats out of the past 5, so they're on free fall. Rovers are not bad. We're unbeaten in 4 here, folks. Unbeaten in 4, sitting in an 8th spot, and a win on Saturday against Swansea, who are right on breathing down our necks, who have only got 1 win at the past 5 at least, and we're right back in the thick of things, and we should be content with that. Just, you know what? If you'd say we'd be at 8th spot heading into March, we're bitting your piss and hand off. Down the bottom is Luton, Barnsley and Wigan. Going down as it stands. But guess what, folks? 4 points separates 23rd place Barnsley and 20th place Stoke. Huddersfield and Charlton just a couple points above them as well. And Hull City, 41 points. When the heck are they going to get a win? So it is very, very tight at the bottom of the table. This is what's going to happen this weekend. Hull City against Leeds. That ain't going to work out in his favour, is it? So I expect Leeds with a victory there. Cardiff City against Brentford. Back that up a second. Cardiff, they're in 11th spot. A win for them. Could see them go above us, maybe 7th spot against Brentford, who just need a win. So you know what? That could cancel. That could work in our favour as well. Sheffield Wednesday against Derby. Sheffield Wednesday down 12th. Derby are they're down in 15th. That's kind of a dead rubber at the moment. But Sheffield Wednesday, a win, and they could get back in. West Brom against Wigan. Top versus kind of a bottom sort of situation. Wigan need the win to get out of the drop zone. Wigan, West Brom currently doing bits at the top of the table. They could probably afford to slip up here, but they probably won't. Obviously, the game of the weekend is going to be at Ewood Park. Rovers against Swansea. And you know what? We're going to cover that game tomorrow, but I fancy our chances on this one. Luton Town against Stoke. Monstrous game right there. It's the Nathan Jones derby right there. QPR against Birmingham. Kind of a mid-table crunch class. Got nothing really to go about it. QPR at home can be a pain in the butt. Fulham against Preston. Again, look at that. That could work in our favour. It could work in our favour despite us chucking it up today. Millwall against Bristol City. Look at that. Millwall in 10th spot. Bristol City gets 7th. Goodness gracious me. It's just... cancel each other out. If Millwall pick up the win against Bristol City, it's a door wide open once again for Rose. Reading against Barnsley down the wall towards the foot of the table. Huddersfield against Charlton, that's another 6-pointer. Middlesbrough against Forest, they need to win. Monday Night Football, goodness gracious me. Anyway, I'm going to take a look at these games in a bit more detail live on the YouTube, probably tomorrow. So check that out Thursday. I need to pencil that sucker in. But anyway, what about the fans? What they've been saying? Well, let's take a look at it. Amber Carl said this: "Ain't losing either." That's against it was in response to the result. "Have faith. None of us expected to be this close at the start of the season. Agree, Gallagher doesn't work on the wing, but you would be all moaning if we put Armour there when he's in such fine form. Grow a pair and support your team, for fuck's sakes. How half of you don't go? I wish I could go. I really do. Because I'm here in the US of A. I can't get over there. Morton Kivett, unless some Patreons step up the plate. I can't." Morton Kivia said this: "Stoke got exactly what they came for. Didn't even try to play football. Credit to them for defending well. Maybe some changes should be made earlier, but always easy to say that in hindsight." On to the next one. Up the Rovers. 06_John said this: "We were unable to break Stoke's lines. Maybe with Dak or Holtby, it would have been a different in a difficult game in attack. Despite everything, we are 4 points from the playoffs, and there's still chances. Winning from Swansea is a must." Talk of Ewood, they said this. He said this: "Mixed on Stoke came with very intention of avoiding defeat. Decent point in the right direction after last night's result. Win on Saturday, and it's a good point. Lose on Saturday, and it looks bleak." Kelvin Wilkes said this: "Impressed with Stoke City. They were defensively solid and looked a threat. And were countered with some pace, strength, and ingenuity. Boring game, tedious tactics, but necessary in their position." The helpful punter said this: "Yes, it's a disappointing result, but some of the other fans on here need to take a look at themselves. The team is overachieving big time, given injuries to key players, and they're not losing. Keep going, and they're in the mix." Moving forward, Rob Young: "It's honestly embarrassing how quickly the Rovers boys come out of hiding to announce our season is over. Behave yourselves." Luke Van Genk said there's 2 points dropped. We can't afford that if we want to reach the playoffs. 3 points against Swansea, the only option. Chris, a.k.a. Wilkes Visual, said boring. Should have made subs sooner to inject more energy. At least Galley was getting shots on target, but we should have finished better indeed. Solsters Inc., a.k.a. Sully, games like this, you miss the Daxter. Lots of endeavour, but in tight games, you need that little bit of guile and quality up top. Agreed. And Rob Langton said this: at the start of the season, we would have taken where we are now with 11 games left there. We aren't ready for promotion this year, so just enjoy the ride. We aren't. You know what? If we were to get to promotion, we would get battered, Norwich style. But I wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind the 100-odd million that you get. Adam Hayes said this: Dak or Holtby could make the difference in tight games such as this. Oh well, still gained another point on the teams above us on the weekend. We go, fellas. That is about it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. If you're new, smash the subscribe. New videos every single day on the channel, whether it's FIFA, whether it's Blackburn Rovers, whether it's predictions. We've got it all here, baby, under one roof. Make sure you check out the description. Links to my other social media platforms are in there. Twitter, I'm running in on 1,000 subscribers. Could you be number 1,000? Patreon, looking for patrons. Could you be number 10? And also on Facebook if you want to check that sucker out. All those details are down below. We go ahead and go again tomorrow. I'll be previewing the Swansea City game. Maybe make some changes in the starting 11. And just break down the numbers. Anyway, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I've got to get to bed. I'll see you all very, very soon. Until then, I'm out. Thanks again for watching. Please like, share, and most importantly, hit the subscribe button to keep you bang up to date. All things Blackburn Rovers related, championship related, football related. We've got it all covered right under one roof. And while I still have you, please be sure to check out some of the old videos scattered along here. I hope.